Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today we're going to take a look at 3 cheap fragrance colognes, including Armaf's Odyssey Tyrant. So let's jump into it. All right, we're back with another unboxing first impressions video of 3 affordable cologne fragrances that I recently picked up as part of a haul from Fragrance Buy. Link's going to be down in the description if you decide you want to check any of these fragrances out. Also have a coupon code. Save yourself $5 off your first purchase at Fragrance Buy if you decide you want to shop with them. Pretty excited about this. I got a Paris Corner, I got one from Sapil, and I got an Armaf in here, and pretty excited about all 3. So let's quit screwing around and let's get into it. All right, first up, going to the house of Paris Corner with Paris Corner's Armaf Odyssey. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Picked this up for $35 at Fragrance Buy, and apparently this is a pretty good clone of YSL's Baby Cat, so we shall find out. Let's dive in. All right, so there we have the box presentation for Paris Corner's Rifaaqat. Typical white cardboard box, nothing to it. Let's check out the bottle. All right, so there we have the bottle presentation for Paris Corner's Rifaaqat. Pretty straightforward looking bottle. It's got some nice rounded corners to it, nice thick base to it. Cap on this, about a thick plastic, but it is a plastic cap, but it's definitely got some girth to it. And the atomizer on this bad boy, a little gurgly. Oh, there we go, pressurized atomizer. Very, very nice. A little gurgly at the beginning, but it straightens itself out. But what does this smell like? So right off the jump, just smelling this in the air, definitely has that YSL Baby Cat vibe, DNA going on to it. Has some pepper, has a fairly strong saffron that's in the air, some nice sweet vanilla that's going on, a little bit of this elamine that's kind of working its way through. Really reminds me of the other Paris Corner dupe of YSL's Baby Cat, and that is the Atouf. This one, I find the opening on this one is really quite harsh. I didn't really care for that one at the very beginning when I got it, but the dry down on that's nice. But sticking to the topic here, very, very similar opening. This one's a little bit more toned down and a little bit more sweet in the air. So let's get this on paper. Yeah, so right off the rip, just smelling this off paper, a little less sweet than it is in the air. The black pepper really punches through on this off the test strip. You're also getting that elamine that's in there, but you're getting that saffron and that black pepper the most off the jump here. Little bit of that sweetness is still there, that vanilla is there, but it's not as sweet as it was in the air off this test strip, but really nice combination of that black pepper and saffron. I'm digging that. As it's opening up a little bit more, the cedar from the base is starting to push up a little bit, and it has a really nice fresh spice. I'm not sure if it's just the woods mixing with that black pepper, but it's a nice dry, almost spicy type of wood that's coming through and combining with that saffron and the black pepper. Still, the vanilla is still kind of at the same level as it was. It's not pushing forward too much right now. Just a hint of that sweetness coming through to balance off that pepper, saffron, woody accord right now. Really gentlemanly opening mid to this. It's really, really nice. All right, so yeah, now as this is settled down, that vanilla is coming forward. So it is balancing off a little bit now with that black pepper and saffron, getting a little bit of that kind of smooth, almost creamy vanilla vibe going on, adding that sweetness. Pink pepper still there, but it is kind of tucked in behind. Really balancing off quite nice. I am enjoying this. Let's skip to the dry down, see how it unfolds, and we'll go from there. All right, we're back with the dry down of Paris Corner's Armaf Rifaaqat, how do you pronounce that? Been about an hour, let this settle down, do its own thing. Beautiful dry down on this. It didn't change a whole lot. It still has that saffron that's in there, but the vanilla and the cedarwood in the base came through. And it's absolutely delicious. The vanilla's really come forward, and it's got this nice, smooth, creamy sweetness that's there. The cedarwood has a kind of a nice fresh spice and woody aspect, a very kind of light, airy style of cedar for that vanilla to kind of drizzle on top of it with that saffron around the edges. There's a little bit of olibanum and that maybe perhaps that elamine sticking around as well. So it has this kind of like fresh, piney spice to it. It is tucked in behind all that, but it almost gives it a bit of an aromatic push to this as well, maybe elevating that cedar wood a little bit. It just works really well together. And it's just kind of a sexy mix of spice, woods, sweetness that comes through, and it's just got this mysteriousness to it, sophistication, and I'm really digging this one. Yeah, that's basically what it is. I'm a big fan of this one, and it does stick to that YSL Baby Cat style of DNA. So for $35, pretty impressed. We'll see how the performance is on this, but I think this is gonna be a fantastic date night fragrance, dress up fragrance. Really impressed. That's Paris Corner's Armaf Rifaaqat. All right, next up, going to the house of Sapil, and it's Sapil Bound. Now, pick this up for $18 at Fragrance Buy. I have heard about this for quite a while. This has been around being talked about for, like, I don't know, a year or so, and just never got a chance to pick it up. It does sell out fairly quick, and it is a certified cheapie, so let's see what all the hype is about, shall we? All right, there we have the box presentation for Sapil Bound. Pretty straightforward cardboard box. Has a bit of a kind of like a snake skin or alligator skin kind of going on there with black and gold. Typical cardboard box. Check out the bottle. All right, there we have the bottle presentation for Sapil Bound. Interesting looking bottle. I kind of like this. It has that kind of mimicking that snake or alligator skin or whatever that is. Kind of like a plasticky faux leather sort of feel to it. Nice glass base to this one. Nice, it's pretty thick, heavy bottle. And plastic kind of gold trim on this one. Cap on this, lightweight plastic, but it's got some strength to it, so it's not feeling too cheap in my hands. And the atomizer on this, decent atomizer, will get the job done. But what does this smell like? So right off the jump, just smelling this in the air. Lots of sour green apple coming through. There is this nice aromatic lavender that's in there. Hints of some kind of leather, little touches of spice, but you're really getting that sweet, sour green apple moving in with that aromatic lavender. So quite nice. I'm not too sure if it's a clone of what I thought it was going to be a clone of yet, but let's get this on paper and figure it out. So right off the rip, just smelling this off paper. Very similar to what it was in the air, but there are some other notes coming through. So you're definitely getting that sweet, sour green apple and that lavender that's coming through. The lavender is more kind of an aromatic airiness. It doesn't have that soapy, clean feel to it. Just kind of like pushing up those other notes. Little hints of some spice, but there's this nice tonka that's coming through as well. So it's got this vanillic sweetness. I have heard this is supposed to be a clone of Armani Code Profumo. Not quite there yet, if you ask me. Maybe once this kind of moves a little bit more, but lots of green apple, there is some citrus that's there, hints of some spice, and it does have a nice aromatic nature to it. As it's opening up a little bit more, that tonka is coming forward a lot more aggressively, so it's got that vanilla sweetness coming through, a little bit of that kind of tonka dryness as well. The leather is there, but it's really tucked in behind those sweet accords right now. Same with the spices. There's a little hint of cardamom, nutmeg style of spice that's there, but it's tucked in behind that sweetness. The green apple's there, the kind of orangey citrus has really faded off right now, but there is kind of like a soft white floral that's mixing in there. So it's more sweet than anything right now. The spices in the leather are really tucked in behind that sweet vanillic accord with still hints of that sour green apple. Yeah, as time is passing here, that tonka amber vanillic accord is really starting to move forward and kind of take the center stage, if you will. Spices are there, but they are kind of subdued. Very nice. I can see why this would be kind of an Armani Codes twist or inspired by right now. Really quite nice. I do enjoy that fragrance. So let's skip to the dry down, see how this all unfolds, and we'll go from there. All right, we're back with the dry down of Sapil Bound. Been an hour, let it settle down, do its thing. Really nice fragrance, especially for $18. This is a great cheapie, but it doesn't quite hit that Armani Profumo DNA. Like it's a little bit there. It has that same, like a very familiar tonka that the Armani Code line uses. So that tonka bean is definitely in there. Little hint of that leather, but it's mostly green apple, tonka with a little bit of additional sweetness, which coming across kind of like a white floral, like an orange blossom style. So it's got a lot of sweetness, but the green apple is still pushing forward quite a bit. So this might be a little bit different on skin after you give it some time. Maybe some more of that tonka leather amberiness comes through, but overall it is quite nice. Also it's kind of like that 1 Million vibe. It's got that kind of that sweetness that the 1 Million has. It's in that neighborhood. So it's mass appeal, crowd pleasing, dumb reach style of kind of date night fragrance or even an evening out style of fragrance. And I am quite liking this one. It is quite nice. I do enjoy that tonka bean that's coming through. It's delicious. So for 18 bucks, I am pretty pleased with this one. We'll see what the performance is like on this one, but overall, I got my money's worth. That's Sapil Bound. All right, and last, but hopefully not least, going to the house of Armaf with Armaf's Odyssey Tyrant. Now, scoop this up for $20 at Fragrance Buy, and this is actually my first in the new Odyssey line. I have the black and the white, but I haven't tried any of the other ones, and it's my first endeavor into that series, so pretty excited. Let's dive in. All right, there we have the box presentation for Armaf's Odyssey Tyrant. Interesting looking box, got kind of a shimmery gold and almost like a camouflage style with kind of the shape of the bottle there, but otherwise typical cardboard box. Let's check out the bottle. All right, there we have the bottle presentation for Armaf Odyssey Tyrant. See-through glass. This is a change up from the black and the white bottles, and what the exact same as the other Odyssey series, and kind of nice. Looks a little bit more like a hand grenade with that camo than it does like a canteen, like the other ones kind of reminded me of. Cap on this is giant with this little doohickey handle. Armaf is always pulling stuff like that, but it is a thick plastic. This isn't cheap. This wouldn't break in my hands. And the atomizer on this. Decent atomizer. It's a little on the gurgly side, but it'll get the job done. But what does this smell like? So right off the jump, just smelling this in the air. Grapefruit forward right off the rip here. Very like sour, realistic style of citrusy grapefruit. Some aromatics that are in there as well. A little hint of some pepper that's mixed in there, giving you a little bit of a sharpness, kind of accentuating that grapefruit as well. And kind of like a dry, grassy vetiver mixing in there, just kind of elevating that citrus a little bit, but grapefruit forward for sure. Let's get this on paper, dive in. So right off the rip, just smelling this off paper, again, very citrus forward. That grapefruit is definitely there. Has that pepper, it has that kind of sauvage-y style of pepper, so it's like very nose tickle style of pepper. Mixing with those citruses, this makes this a very kind of like sharp, lively style of opening to this, with just the combination of those two. The aromatics are there, but they're not as strong as they were in the air, but it does have those kind of woody accords moving through with a little bit of ambroxan as well. So this is like, it's not quite sauvage. It's very citrus heavy. I'm not sure what they're trying to do with this. It's a twist, but it definitely has that kind of familiar pepper in the sauvage. Yeah, so as this is opening up, the ambroxan's coming forward a little bit more. There's additional sweetness that's moving in. The grapefruit definitely has toned down, so it's not as sharp and as sour as it was in that opening, but it's still a very citrusy style of fragrance. And the pepper too is kind of toned down. It's not as kind of like tickle your nose as it was. So everything's kind of toning down, blending together a little bit, so it's a nice balance of the citrus, a little bit of that spice with some sweetness coming through. The vetiver is not as strong as it was in the air. There is hints of some woods that are in the base here, but it's mostly about that citrus, that spice, and a little bit of aromatic touch to this. So it is quite nice. I am enjoying this one. I just can't figure out what it's a twist of or a combination of. It's not a direct clone of anything I've smelled. Yeah, this is really quite nice. It definitely has that kind of mass appeal, crowd-pleasing, compliment beast style of scent DNA to it, which is very pleasant. Let's skip to the dry down, see how this unfolds, and we'll go from there. All right, so we're back with the dry down of Armaf's Odyssey Tyrant. Been an hour, let this settle down, do its thing. It hasn't changed a whole lot, but I'm surprised that the grapefruit is sticking around as long as it has. The grapefruit is still as strong now as it was in that initial opening, to be quite honest. The pepper definitely has dropped down quite a bit. So it's hard to detect at this point. More of the woody notes from the base have come forward. Cedar, vetiver, it's all kind of mixing in there. So it's just kind of a nice medley of woods that are in there. Still getting that ambroxan push coming through. And it does have those aromatic nature as well. So it's more elevating that citrus and kind of making those woods a little bit on the lighter side. You can't tell if it's like a soapy lavender or geranium that's coming through. Just kind of has that light sort of aromatic feel going on to it. It is quite nice, but this is not something that I'm familiar with. If this is a direct clone of something, I'm not sure what it is. It had that sort of sauvage-y style of pepper that in the beginning. The citrus is in here, like maybe a moment where it was kind of a little on the Bulgari Tiger side, but mostly from that grapefruit, but it didn't quite hit the mark. It didn't have that same style of sweetness. So it's almost, it was hitting both in different departments, but overall this isn't anything that I'm familiar with in terms of a clone, but overall very nice summer fragrance. Like I said, the grapefruit that comes through with this, mixing with that ambroxan, a little bit of spice, aromatics, and those wood notes are just doing it for me. I think this is gonna be a fantastic summer fragrance. If you're into grapefruit, I think you're gonna wanna check this one out. And I think for 20 bucks pending performance, I think this is a great pickup and a steal of a deal. So pretty impressed with this one so far, and I'll have to get back to you guys, let you know how it performs. That's Armaf's Odyssey Tyrant. All right, so there you have it. That's 3 new fragrance clones, twists that I recently picked up, but I want to hear from you guys. What are some other fragrances you'd like to see me do a haul, first impressions unboxing of? Comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. I love getting your different recommendations, your hidden gems, different taste and scent profiles. Appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.